Back again with writing prompt number 41 for Journal Journey. Before we get started, if you haven't yet, please check out Flintlocked. Issue 1 is available on Amazon. It is a pirate comic book that I co-wrote and co-created. I would really appreciate it if you check that out. Nico. He just strolled in from the other room, my partner's dog, and he's just licking my feet. Out. Go. No. Look, he just thinks this is okay. Trying this again. Writing prompt number 41. Let's go ahead and jump in. It is, what makes a good friend? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that I'm a little sore about this, but I've had a history of, not great friends. Not to say that I'm 100% perfect, but a big thing that I think what makes a good friend is effort. Effort and listening. I think far too often, and this isn't just friendships, but this is relationships as well, as people think that, it's like they think about it like a business where you are trying to get more out of it than you give to it. And I say like business as in like, oh, I'm gonna, make this product for $2 and we're gonna sell it for 10. People act that way with relationships where they try to give a little, but take more. And I think that's one thing that has frustrated me with most friends, especially in this digital age that we're in. It's very easy to ghost people, but also have tons of friends, whether they are in the same state or country or somewhere totally different. And I think because we're in a time where people think it is so easy to connect, where it's ironically like not easy. We have these apps, we have all these social medias, we have texting, we have, luckily things like Zoom and FaceTime where we can talk to people over long distance. Like, that's great. But I also think that people aren't treating their friends the same way because they just think something else is better out there, and that's not everyone. It's not always the case. But it's just something that I've noticed. It's almost like, I think, and I keep equating this to dating because it feels like friendships, they're like breakups. They can be just as heartbreaking. Is, if you really think about it, ever since like apps became a thing, you can just literally just go left or right with a thumb, and you can meet many people if you want, depending on how the conversations go. So why would you settle for something that's not perfect when you think you can find like a perfect person out there? And like I said, that's not just for dating. I think that's friends too. I think there's a lot of times where people have so many Facebook friends. We're like, I have 5,000 Facebook friends. Yeah, but how many of them actually know when your birthday is? How many of them actually care? How many of them actually know how to pronounce your last name? Things like that, to where I think if anything, at least my experience currently, I'm recording this September of 2020 when we're living in the, 6 so months into a pandemic world. It's kind of shown me who my true friends are. There are some people that I thought were some of my best friends who have pretty much fallen off talking to me and other mutual friends of ours. Now, not to say that, yeah, this is a trying time. People are losing their jobs. People are depressed. People are having to maybe move back home. Major life things. I get it. But also, I think that's where you find real friends, because they're the ones that are sticking through the hard times. They're the ones that, are there for you. And sometimes it feels like people are there for us, but they're really not. You know, it's not that you should be super, super over dependent, codependent when it comes to friends, but I feel like what makes a good friend is someone that you know you can rely on, but also just the fact that you may not need to ask them. They may just sense something is wrong, or they may check in, things like that. Whereas, uh, one thing that I noticed, and this is a big thing that's been part of my friends ever since you first make friends, when you're like 5. I feel like I've always been, and I have some who are like this that I know, the planner, meaning we're the ones who coordinate. Let's go to this person's place. Let's have these people come, and we're always organizing, or we're always hosting, whatever it may be. And then, sure, there are probably some friends who come, but then they maybe don't invite you to stuff, or they don't always respond, or whatever it may be. And I think that's something that it took a long time in my life, and I'm still learning. I'm not perfect when it comes to realizing toxic behavior in another friend or not. But I think sometime in college I had this friend. Her and I talked about it, and I just said, look, I'm like, I don't always want to be the one organizing or planning something for you and I to do. I'd love it if you reach out to me, because it feels like a one-sided relationship, which is probably one of the biggest problems with most relationships, whether it's coworkers, dating, friendships, family. Like, things are very one-sided, and I think what makes good friends and relationships is when it is equal both ways. So, yeah, it's kind of a long rant, but and here's the thing, and I don't think that friendship should just be like, well, I did this nice thing, so therefore I want a nice thing back. It's not like that. I just think that there should be some equal giving and taking because you care about each other. You know, I'm not someone for gifts. I want someone to buy me a super expensive thing. But, like, for example, if a friend notices that I really like this flavor of Gatorade or this thing, and then they just happen to be like, oh, yeah, I grabbed you this coffee. I know you like iced coffee, blah, 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 and they just know that it's like, oh, wow, you know, they take time in their memory and effort to catalog that and show that they care, you know. So that's probably like the big thing that I'm going to really say with this one and stress is that, like, friendship should be two ways. It shouldn't just be, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. It should be 50-50. Maybe some 60-40s. Those just happen, but I feel like it should be pretty close to even. But anyway, those are my thoughts on what makes a good friend. What are your thoughts? Please comment below what you would have written for this journal entry, and we shall see you tomorrow.